Why did you decide to run for sheriff?
I want to run for sheriff because I want to make a difference. I have 33 years of law enforcement experience, 30 years working at the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office, so this agency is near and dear to me. And I know I can make a difference with regard to public safety, public trust, and employee development.
Okay. What are some of the issues that people in Snohomish County are facing that need tackling?
Yeah, the issues are very complex, so I think this is why I'm a good fit for the position because I have a broader breadth of experience, training, and education. They are very complex, so we need partnerships to address our multiple behavioral health challenges. And that is not just the mental health struggles that we're dealing with as a society in general, but also the housing unstable and those that have addiction issues. We need to, one, be willing to make those arrests and address crime issues when they're apparent. But my priority is to be smart on crime and come up with solutions. So just going out and putting handcuffs on everybody is proven not to be successful. So it's those partnerships that are really important to me that I've developed over the last 3 decades in this community that I think we really need to lean into for solutions that help our entire community.
Was there something that prompted you to run, to think, this is not the Snohomish County I want it to be, I want to make an impact?
Yeah, I think so. On the priorities, like public trust is a big deal. We've had, as a profession, a national awakening since the murder of George Floyd. And I think we're realizing, those of us that have been in the profession for a long time, that public trust is the key. Police legitimacy is critical because when we don't have that safety, that nexus to trust and safety, we have a harder time keeping our community safe. We actually are finding that people are less likely to call 911 when we have diminished public trust. So for me, I think we need to do a much better job with public trust right now in this position. I think a lot of those other things will come from it. I live in this community as well, and I know, because I am a law enforcement professional, that there are crime fighting strategies we could be deploying to do a better job. And so being able to see it through that lens and knowing that the tighter your resources, the harder your staffing is, the more you have to be deliberate in your strategies and deploy those. So I'm confident I could do a better job in these areas that are really important to all of us.
I think for me personally, I think one of the biggest issues that we're seeing, at least in our newsroom, is the fentanyl crisis.
Yeah.
How do you work to tackle that?
The fentanyl crisis, I'm glad you call it a crisis because I think it shows the necessary alarm to what's going on. We're a little behind the 8 ball because Washington State and what we did the last few years with regard to drugs and drug arrests, that I believe we have a little catch up to do. This is an area I feel exceptionally strong. So I'm uniquely situated compared to my opponent because I worked narcotics for 8.5 years. So not only was I undercover detective, I worked in a regional federal drug task force. So I understand the importance of the cases and how to build them and the resources needed because it's multi-pronged. It is obviously get to the dealers and the distributors is our priority. But there is also a component for education. I am terrified of what's going on with children in our schools. So there's a whole nother component that we have not spent a lot of time on in the past. And then the third piece is reducing demand, right? It is putting resources into rehabilitation and recovery. So we have to hit all of those. And from law enforcement perspective, we can't just focus on the arrest.
And then just a couple more for you. Day one, what's that first initiative?
I love this. Yes, actually, I have a 100-day plan. I have my command staff, if you will, my staff who already work at the sheriff's office ready to go. There are a litany of things we would do on day one, but not to overstress existing staffing is we go from mission to purpose. So right away, the reset is really to come back to our oaths of office, because I think the key to all of this is our service mentality and remembering who we serve. And that may sound simplistic, but when we serve the community and we put their interests first, everything else comes through it. That means the respect and the humility. That's a great reset to remember why we're out here, because it can be so difficult. Our employees work very hard every day, and that oath of office reset is really important. But separate from that is a communication with stakeholders. It's a relook at staffing, resiliency for the organization, but overall it's professional standards too. The Snohomish County Sheriff's Office used to be a state accredited agency. That was lost under the current sheriff, and that's something that we would start working on day one.
Okay, and then my last question to you, if you feel comfortable, what's something that you would say to your opponent?
I appreciate his service to the county.
Thank you so much.